Hello, bonjour! In this video, I'm flipping through my finished Inktober sketchbook and sharing the 7 lessons I've learned throughout this month-long challenge. From working with craft paper to handling tricky prompts, I take you through what worked, what didn't, and how I adapted along the way. Whether you're a gouache painter or just curious about tackling a creative challenge like Inktober, I hope this video gives you some insights that you can use in your own journey. Let's dive in. Lesson 1, the importance of paper choice. I am using this sketchbook by kraft, which is a craft sketchbook, and it's 115 GSM, which is not enough. I love working on craft paper with gouache. I think the background color really complements gouache, especially with pastel shades like this, yellow and pink. I think it's great. However, the paper is so thin that it's warping and making bumps and holes, so it's pretty difficult to achieve straight lines because your brush is moving on the bumps of the paper. So this is an issue, and I think I will look for a craft sketchbook but with a thicker paper. The next thing is the colors. On craft, of course, you have to adapt, so it's really great with pastel colors. It's less interesting with brown colors, like this shoe is not popping out on top of the black of the craft paper. So yes, you can use craft, but beware with the color you are using, otherwise they will fade into the background. Lesson 2, struggling with symmetry. I have a hard time with symmetrical objects. It's not just manufactured objects, because this one is man-made, but it has soft and curved lines. But this one, and especially this one, I had a really hard time because straight symmetrical elements are difficult to me, and the ellipses were really hard to nail down, as well as this one, which was pretty hard to make it symmetric. And yeah, this one was pretty hard to get something symmetrical. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. That's the way my brain is wired. I knew I didn't like it before. I am really sure I don't like it after. But it's important to know what you like and what you don't like. This is how you shape your art style. So I will stay away from symmetrical objects from now. Or I will make a complete series of it to try to improve. I don't know yet. Lesson 3, gouache surface. Well, flat surface was what I wanted to go with at first, like here. And pretty quickly I came back to what I love, what I like. It's having different colors and blending different colors together, because I don't like flat surface. But it's just me. Maybe you like that, and it can be something interesting, like here with flat surface. But it's too illustration for me. It's not my style, but I'm okay with it. Lesson 4, choosing your limited color palettes carefully. I made a complete video about that, so I won't talk much about it, but it's very interesting to push your limits with limited color palettes, even though, as I said, it's not fine on the craft paper. It's even dull in some range, but if you have bright colors, it can be interesting. And black and white is really great for craft paper. I think the white is really popping out because you are using the craft at the mid-tone, and you can go darker or lighter to get the 3D effect. I'm curious, did you do Inktober this year? Let me know in comments what were your biggest struggles. Mine was the paper. Lesson 5 is how to interpret the prompts with imagination. When I began, I went literal. Backpack, okay, let's make a backpack. And then the second one was discover, which is not an item, so you have to use your imagination. So, okay, I was thinking about a compass, boots, literal, exotic. Oh, you can think of something. Binoculars, and if you look at the prompts, they are one that is literal and one that is imagination. Well, and any of them can be used with imagination. Snacks could be something else. Horizon. I made a natural horizon. And I think the most interesting is the concept prompts, where you have to think of something that is not the object by itself. It forces me to be more creative, so this is something I really like. And at some point, I combined the prompts because I thought it would be very interesting to combine a rhinoceros with a camp. And for the camp, I used a lamp. So I thought it was fun to have the lamp on the horn. Then I kept going with this and added a key for the rest prompt to the rope, which is my interpretation of the expedition prompt. Although I should have more tension in the rope to show that the key is really hanging on it, but never mind. Then I combined the scarecrow and the camera. I hope you get the reference for this one. Let me know in comments if you have the ref. And then I combined road and jumbo. Well, not my fav. I don't like the elephant. I think it's ugly. And yeah, that's all I did for combining. And here I didn't combine, but I wanted to have two pages that were matching each other. And this is leading me to lesson 7, balancing paint thickness. The thing is, when you work on craft paper, you already have a value on the paper. It's not white. So when you are using light colors like this, you need to cover the background if you want a flat surface. And for that, you need to have a thick paint. But if your paint is too thick, you won't be able to maneuver it on the paper. So you have to thin it down, but not too much, because if you thin it too much, you will be transparent. And the end result is that I used 2 layers of thin paint to get an almost flat surface. And some colors are more opaque than others. The brown is very opaque, but this one, this peach tone, was not opaque. But the thing is, if you use thin layers, you have water in it and you will get your paper to warp. Inktober is a wonderful challenge if you have the time, the energy, and the mental space to do it. It can be overwhelming, but I'm happy that I put myself through. And my tip to do it is, as soon as the list is released early September, I began making them. So I thought that would give me 2 months to do it, but in the end I did everything during September. Some days I made 5, and some days I made none of them. But this relieved the pressure of being in the schedule and having to post every day. I hope sharing my lessons will help you tackling your own challenge and maybe help you find your art style. And it's not about finding, it's about shaping your art style. And you can watch this video where I talk about it, and Inktober is a great way to shape your art style.